you're worried you left a lot of unfinished business on your desk over the holiday weekend, might I introduce you to the U.S. Congress? This time tomorrow, they'll return to the hallowed halls of Capitol Hill and have to face several long-delayed showdowns. Perhaps the biggest looming item on the to-do list, the release of Jeffrey Epstein case files. That's going to be tested on Wednesday. There's also another budget battle that has to be settled within 30 days, or guess what? A looming government shutdown and turmoil at the CDC will be front and center Thursday when RFK Jr. testifies in the Senate. Joining us now, NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Melanie Zanona, Michael Hardaway, former spokesman for House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and Maura Gillespie, former advisor to then-Speaker John Boehner. Melanie, I want to start with you. This is, of course, the issue that has actually kind of split the Republicans. That's the Epstein files. So why is this week central to that inquiry, and what do we expect to happen?
Yeah, it is going to be a critical week in the Epstein case on Capitol Hill because there is this bipartisan duo who's threatening to force a floor vote on releasing all of the files essentially immediately with very minimal redactions.
And they mean it?
And something GOP leadership had been trying to avoid doing. Now, they do need their signatures from 218 colleagues, so that's not a guarantee. But to help make their case, they're going to bring up some of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse. That's probably going to be a very powerful press conference, potentially a really explosive moment. We're hearing some of these victims have never talked before. But meanwhile, the House Oversight Committee is also trying to show its commitment to uncovering the truth about the Epstein case. And they're also going to be meeting behind closed doors with some of those victims starting tomorrow. I want you to take a listen to Chairman James Coleman. He's the top head of the Oversight Committee.
We're bringing in the families and the attorneys of the victims Tuesday afternoon to talk to the House Oversight Committee. This will be Republicans and Democrats because we're going to make this information public. That's what the American people want. When we travel around all of our districts, that's one of the things that people ask. When are we going to see the Epstein files?
And as you heard there, the committee has just been under enormous pressure to try to show some level of transparency, to take some steps. Up until 2 months ago, the Oversight Committee, this was not on their agenda. Now this is going to be a top priority for them. They're having depositions with officials. They issued a subpoena for the Epstein estate. So that's going to be a storyline going forward for the committee as well.
And a lot to take in with all those individuals on Capitol Hill. Maura, I want to ask you about that. I mean, you just heard Melanie talk about how much pressure could Wednesday's press conference with these alleged Epstein survivors, how could that play out in Republican circles? And do you expect the Trump administration to change their policy or get more involved? What is the reaction you think will be from within the Republican Party?
I think it'll be really interesting to see how many Republicans decide, is it worth signing on to the deposition that Ro Khanna, or the resolution that Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, Republican from Kentucky, have. They right now say they have all Democrats on board and are looking for 6 more Republicans to join them. So can this press conference sway them, and will they hear from enough constituents? Have they already this August pressuring them to sign on and release for more transparency? Because I think the biggest question that we're hearing from constituents and people around the country is, Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years for sex trafficking. Well, sex trafficking to whom? Were all those victims solely to Jeffrey Epstein, or were there others involved? And they feel as though, the American people feel as though there has not been enough information shed on who else was involved, and they want answers.
And Michael, also on the agenda, we've got HHS Secretary RFK Jr. is appearing before the Senate Finance Committee Thursday. Just as this turmoil is erupting at the CDC, he ousted the director a couple days ago. Several top officials resigned in protest. Now top Democrats, including Chuck Schumer, Ro Khanna, and Bernie Sanders, are calling for RFK Jr. to be removed. What political tools do Democrats have to build pressure on the secretary and the administration in this issue, or is it just a matter of convincing President Trump he's got to go, and is that at all likely?
Right now, their only tool is to drive public sentiment and make it so uncomfortable for Donald Trump that he has to act here. I mean, RFK Jr. seems to have no idea what he's doing here as it relates to keeping the American people safe and healthy. And so, look, Donald Trump appointed this person who doesn't know what he's doing. And so Democrats, our only strategy in the immediate future is to drive public sentiment around the need to remove him from the job. Now, once, past the midterms, if Democrats take the majority, that becomes a different conversation. But for right now, it's just public sentiment, and that's what they're doing.
And Melanie, the last list on the to-do list, the last item is always the item on the to-do list, and that's to pass a budget, or we're facing yet another possible shutdown. Where are we? How did we get here? Are we going to get through it?
Well, it really comes down to whether Democrats are willing to play ball like they did earlier this year when there was another government funding deadline, or are they going to stand up to Trump? Now, earlier in the year, Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats ultimately decided that politics are not good in a shutdown for anyone and that they were going to provide the votes. But a lot has changed since then.
And that was not without controversy at the time.
Exactly.
Either.
He got a lot of flack from the base. The base really wants to see their Democratic leadership standing up to Trump. And meanwhile, you have all these different controversies that have been swirling around Trump over the last few weeks, even from the CDC shakeup that you just mentioned, obviously the federalization of these national troops, trying to send them into cities. And even just recently, the White House decided to issue something called a pocket rescissions, which essentially is canceling funding that was already signed into law, already approved, and doing that without Congress's approval. So Democrats are now questioning, what is the point of agreeing to funding if it's just going to be canceled anyway? All of these are going to factor into the decision, but we're definitely barreling towards a big showdown at the end of the month.
And I feel like Democrats have been pretty open about they are really getting pressure from constituents to do something, anything.
Yeah.
And cooperating on a budget might not be great optics back home.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Michael, I want to ask, it sounds like Republicans are going to need at least a few Democrats on board. But this morning on our air, Congressman Ro Khanna said Democrats are prepared to hold up votes until they get a few basic concessions. Take a listen.
This Congress has to stand up and say, we're not going to be a blank check. You need to follow the Constitution. We're Article 1. The president is Article 2. Somehow no one remembers that. We are not going to have the Schumer dance this time of just surrender. We are going to stand up for the American people.
All right, so as we were just talking about, Schumer deciding to go along with that. Do you think that's politically more risky? Is it a different calculation this time around? And what are Dems going to demand if they get on board with this budget?
Well, if you remember last time, House Democrats stood tall and said, we're not going to stand for this. It ended up being that Mr. Schumer in the Senate decided to go against that. I think the climate has changed and made it worse for Senate Democrats who may want to work with Donald Trump on this. I mean, the most powerful thing that Congress has in terms of its power is the power of the purse. And then secondarily, it is oversight. And Donald Trump has essentially stripped the powers of both of those things from Congress. The only action here for Democrats is to extract a pound of flesh from Donald Trump if he wants to keep the government open, because one thing will happen if the government shuts down. Donald Trump and Republicans will hold the blame. They run Washington. And so for Democrats, there is no real downside to standing up for Trump here and maybe not even working with him at all.
And Maura, before we go, I also want to ask you, Senate Republicans are weighing a major rule change, one that Majority Whip John Barrasso argued in an op-ed is needed to get more than 1,000 of President Trump's senior-level appointments confirmed in the Senate. Barrasso says under a, quote, radical Democratic resistance strategy, the Senate has only confirmed about 135. But we've seen what happens when rules are changed and then administrations change. There used to be this prevailing thought that you want to make rules that will also benefit you when you're in the minority. This group doesn't seem to think like that. What are the potential drawbacks here if they make this rule change and then the Senate flips or the House flips and they're out of power?
And you're right. Right now, the problem seems to be that we're not thinking long term. And I think as Republicans are watching some of these executive orders and these, overreach plays sort of percolate, it becomes a problem looking ahead. When we're no longer in power, when Republicans don't have the majority, how will they feel about this executive overreach and the amount of powers that the president has taken away from Congress? And it does become almost like a constitutional matter. And you have to think about that as Republicans. One of our core principles is obviously a strong adherence to the Constitution and having a smaller government. And what we're seeing play out from the president and his administration is really flying in the face of that. And so I do think this becomes a problem for the Senate. I understand that they want to get confirmations done, and that is a problem. But this changing of a rule could be long-term problematic for them.
All right. Melanie Zanona, Michael Hardaway, and Maura Gillespie, thank you all very much.